Yes, I do know about the crazy amount of leaked pictures and videos going on right now. I am working on a video for that, but it won't be a simple news report. It's gonna be something bigger than that. And that's why I haven't uploaded it yet. It's gonna take a few extra days, but just watch out for it in November. For now, I am staying true to my word and giving a shout out to all of those people who left theories in my Who Is This Girl video. Even if the girl ends up being a very minor character, I promised I'd do this. You're now watching Because Geek. Quick reminder that you can get an exclusive Game of Thrones item if you register for a Geek Fuel subscription this month. And if you use my Because Geek link, you can get an extra Game of Thrones item in your box. Apart from all the other crazy value that the box brings, full of geeky stuff, including a t-shirt and a full game. So go get yours before they run out! You have time until Monday the 31st. There were many popular theories and some very different ones. I will start with the most popular ones, then go down to the less popular ones. And at the end, I'm going to be giving some honorable mentions. Okay, so the most popular theory was that this girl is actually Tormund's daughter. I'm very sorry if I don't pronounce your name correctly. That is a very serious and real problem that happens a lot around here. Name butcher. But yeah, so a shout out to Caitlin, Ipwidbane, First, that was easy, Jamie, Jason T, Lathan, one of my most loyal viewers, Misha, Moji, he's another Game of Thrones YouTuber, Ramaya or Ramia, okay, I had to look this one up and I think it's something like Shauna, Thomas, and Tony. And the main reasoning everyone seems to have is that she has red hair just like Tormund, and that it would also make sense for him to have taught his daughters how to fight, hence the sword she's carrying. I was a bit confused at first as to why this theory was so popular. I know in the show Tormund has said that he has 2 daughters.
It's prettier than both my daughters.
But I would have expected to have met them by now. Seems a bit late to introduce a daughter of a character who has been around for so many seasons. And also she would probably still be wearing free folk attire. I don't think she'd be interested in this dress. But then I thought of another way that this could be possible. And after doing some research, I realized that it's a theory that's actually been around for a while. And somehow I completely missed it. In the books, Lyanna's father is never mentioned. And her mother, Meg, or Meiji, or Mage, or Maggie, nobody knows how to pronounce her name. So I'm just gonna go with Meg. Although if you have proof of the correct pronunciation, then just leave it in the comments. But yeah, in the books, it's rumored that Meg had at least one of her children with a bear. And who else has claimed to have had sex with a bear? Yeah, Tormund.
She was no ordinary beast. Benny's the man with a...
I know you never fucked a bear. You know you never fucked a bear. Right now, I don't want to think about the bear you never fucked.
And Bear Island is often attacked by wildlings because it's so far up north. So the theory is that one or more than one of Meg's daughters is actually Tormund's daughter too. I don't know if the rest of the people were thinking about this, but the only person to actually point it out was Jason T. And there were 2 other people who didn't say she might be Tormund's daughter, but instead said that she could be one of Lyanna Mormont's sisters. So a shout out for that to Edgar and Melissa. Now the other thing I was thinking is, how come Lyanna Mormont is acting as the head of the house if she has older sisters? And this is something that Jon actually asked himself in the books too. Because in the books, Lyanna was also the one to reply to Stannis' letter, just like in the show. And she definitely has older sisters. One of these sisters is called Alysane or Alysane Mormont, and she explains to Asha, Yara in the show, that the women of House Mormont are raised to be tough warriors and leaders in their own right, because Bear Island is constantly under threat of raids from the sea, and the women are often left alone on the island while the men go hunting. So that's why even the youngest of the Mormonts could be the head of the house. So there you go. Could this be a version of Alysane Mormont instead of Alys Karstark? Their names are eerily similar, but I would still argue the same point of it being a bit too late to introduce this character. It would have made more sense to see her introduced at the same time as Lyanna last season. I mean, where could she have been, right? Like, if she knew how to fight, how come she didn't join the Battle of the Bastards? Okay, I know we didn't specifically see any of the other warriors of House Mormont, but I think this girl would have been important enough to show her. And I think we'd also see her wearing something more similar to what Lyanna Mormont wears, instead of this dress. But yes, it's not impossible to meet another Lady Mormont. And it would be really cool for Tormund's arc to find one of his daughters this way. The next theory is one that I found very interesting, mainly because I can't believe I didn't think of it. But it's that if this girl is Alys Karstark, or a version of Alys Karstark, her plot in the books could be translated into the show. In the books, Jon married Alys to the Magnar of Thenn, creating this way the new House Thenn. There are no Thenns left in the show, but Tormund has become the most important wildling leadership-wise. And so it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that Jon would find him a girl to marry, so they could create House Giantsbane. You could argue that there's no point in worrying about that now when the dead are coming. But maybe Jon is just making sure that the free folk have their place in the North guaranteed after the fighting is done, and have them become official citizens of the North. Kind of like the North Mountain clans. Shout out for this one goes to Jesse, Mangan2504, Moji, once again, Tony, once again as well, and Eric, son of James. Hey bud. He not only mentioned this theory, but also said that maybe this girl is one of Karsi's daughters. I don't think enough time has passed for them to have grown this much, but yeah. Redfish Radical was another person who had this theory in their comment, but also mentioned that maybe smaller houses that fought for Jon could be rewarded with the Umber or Karstark holdings, or by having their children married off and elevated to a higher standing. Okay, next one. A lot of people are liking the Sansa's impersonator theory that I mentioned in my video, but everyone had their own approach to it. Ace Newland thinks it will be Littlefinger who uses Sansa's impersonator in his games, bringing her south to the Riverlands or King's Landing. Ilargi Zuri, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, thinks that Littlefinger will actually kidnap Sansa, and Jon will leave this Sansa impersonator in charge at Winterfell while she goes rescue her. Although I doubt that anyone at Winterfell would believe that it is actually Sansa. I think this trick would only work with people that have never seen Sansa before. But the kidnapping part is very possible. Pedro and Ash Shock think that this Sansa impersonator will be used to kill Littlefinger. Adrian thinks that this girl might sneak past the Winterfell guards pretending to be Sansa in order to assassinate Jon. Jeez. Jerry just agrees with me, which means a lot to me because he's a very harsh judge of my theories. And Sir Ian, Ryan Shelby, GBNF, Noah Stark, and Earthatch all think that this might be the Jane Poole plot from the books, being translated into the screen somehow. Firefly Phoenix goes a bit more depth into this and says that for Jane's plot to be included in the show, George R. R. Martin must have told David and Dan that Jane was really important in the endgame, suggesting also that if Jane develops into a survivor and her character hardens, then maybe she could become a love interest for Jon or Tormund. Next we have Brad, Chrisu, Dawn of Fire, and Umbra, liking the idea that it will be Arya who wears this girl's face. Dawn of Fire and Brad agree that this will be specifically to sneak into Winterfell. And then there's Naomi with a very different idea, saying Arya may use this face to meet the Hound, using Sansa's looks to take advantage of him since she kinda knows how the Hound feels about her sister.
There's men who like to beat little girls, men who like to rape them. Saved your sister from some of them.
You're lying.
Ask her, if you ever see her again. Ask her who came back for her. They would have taken her every which way and left her there with her throat cut open.
Mr. Sister 707, Parth, and Philip all think that the sword the girl is carrying could mean that she's actually an Umber, because we heard Melissa Tarley say in Season 6 that Lord Umber actually teaches his daughters how to hunt, so it would make sense if he taught them how to fight as well. We have a different idea from Fry's Killer, who thinks the boy will be betrothed to the girl, and Lord Galbert Glover thinks the boy might marry Lyanna Mormont. I think that would be kinda cute. Although I can see Lyanna being kinda like,
You refuse the call.
Probotector TV liked my idea of completely new characters, saying it may be a concoction of book characters too. Maybe a bit of Alys, with a sprinkle of Val, a splash of Jane Poole, just as the made-up scene may be a mixture of book episodes designed to tighten the storylines and make the plot advance fast-forward. Brendan MC says that these kids could be like the South of the Wall version of Karsi. We just get to like them living between the Wall and Winterfell before the Others' invasion and boom, dead. Scarlet B had a similar idea after finding out that on IMDb the girl is listed for only episode 1 of season 7. Combining that with the high stakes scene could mean that she just dies early. I do need to point out that IMDb hasn't been the most reliable source of information for shows that haven't aired yet, but who knows, maybe it's correct this time. Rasnak had a very outside-the-box theory. What if Lady Karstark is also a badass like Lady Mormont, and she took what remains of the Karstark army and marched to Winterfell with Umber Heir and his remaining men to take revenge for her family? There might be a battlefield meeting scene in where Jon and Sansa have to use diplomacy, and possibly a marriage deal, to convince those two young heirs to a peace deal. That would certainly be a high-stakes scene. I don't know about the battlefield, but hey, I can't say it's impossible. We shall see. Tracy Bear talks about the tradition of taking young members of the losing houses as hostages after the war, to guarantee that they will not rebel again, like when Ned took Theon. So this could be Karstark and Umber hostages. I do like this theory, but I think it would be more important to show the new heads of these houses rather than the hostages that are being taken from them. And we didn't see any other new characters on that set, or hear of any other casting calls reported at the same time as these two. But again, it's not impossible that maybe they just decided to skip the whole negotiation scene and only show the kids arriving at Winterfell. Mr. Fan Token had another creative theory saying that maybe this girl is Melisandre, using her glamour magic to make herself look like another person who could get close to Jon. I don't know, I think she would need to be a very recognizable person in order to be able to get close to Jon. Because people might be like, who the hell is this random girl showing up all of a sudden? But the story could be written in a way to make this random girl get close to Jon. I mean, that's kind of what happened with Robb and his wife, right? She was just a random girl healing people, and she got really close to him. Like, really close to him. Purple Intrepid goes back to the idea that this kid looks a lot like Ramsay, and says that maybe Ramsay did leave a bastard behind, before he decided to start killing all the girls that he raped. As long as the Bolton house is completely obliterated, and this kid can't rebuild it, I'm okay with this. Oh, Melissa Sue also suggested that this girl could be a bride for Robin Arryn. Okay, so before I go into my honorable mentions, I will add that a lot of people were still leaving comments about the young Catelyn and young Littlefinger theory, and also about this girl being Sansa's double. I would have included you guys, but I've already talked about those two theories in this video, and in this video I showed why those two theories have been disproven. Now, first honorable mention goes to Mysemui1, saying, I don't know, her hair is so obviously red and looks so much like Sansa's. If she'd be a total different character, it wouldn't make sense to have someone that looks so much like Sansa. I think that the hair is red for a reason. I completely agree with you. Dice Snow says, my theory is that Rhaegar Targaryen will die in season 7. I mean, are you talking about a flashback here, or are you just completely trolling me? Anyway, you made it on the video. Okay, I need to give this next person an honorable mention just based on creativity. Thaddeus says, gotta think of something deep and thoughtful to warrant a shoutout next video. Did, the Qyburn dude make the zombie mountain explosion proof? Maybe he's in the sewers absorbing the green wildfire energy stuff Ninja Turtle style, and becomes super Shredder-esque and then fights the Hound by spitting green fireballs everywhere? Then the Hound has to overcome his fear of fire and zombies to defeat Big Bro, then become Azor Ahai. Oh my god. You made it on the video, bruh. You made it. And last but not least, Adam Lisby. There, Adam. There you go. You're on the video too. Don't forget to check out the Geek Fuel link in the description to get your exclusive Game of Thrones items this month. Go get yours before they run out! Leave a like if you like this video, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one! By the way, if you guys were still interested in my Game of Thrones Telltale Let's Play, I have been uploading new episodes on my gaming channel, so go check those out. And become Super Shredder... The spoilers are crazy this year, they're showing so much, oh my god. I like little hints of things here and there, but I feel like I know way too much now. Like there's a limit. I don't know. I remember how much we saw last year. This is a lot more. Like we're getting so much video. Last year, I think the only video we got was for the Tower of Joy fighting scene. But anyways.